Yeah, thanks, Stu.
Thanks, Stu.
Rescue.
Sean, can you give us an update on Cooper Kupp?
Yeah, he's progressing. He didn't participate today, so we're just taking it a day at a time with him.
Is that a situation, Sean, where he could not practice all week and still play in the game?
It is, yes.
Sean, what about John Wolford?
Yeah, John did a couple things, but he was a non-participant at practice. So, we're taking it a day at a time with him as well.
Can you do that with a quarterback? I know we just were talking about Kupp, but could John play in the game, but if he doesn't practice this week or is very limited?
Yeah, we're just going to take it a day at a time right now.
Have you determined who will be the starting quarterback Saturday?
Yeah, taking it a day at a time.
I think David Edwards is going to play this weekend.
That's something that, really with all those guys, we're just monitoring it by the day. Both David and Cooper and are making progress, and, we'll see where they're at once we get closer to kickoff.
What's your kind of, based on talking to Reggie and stuff, what's kind of your evaluation of where Aaron's at in terms of being ready to go?
I think you guys talked to him earlier. What would you say?
Well, I know what he told us, but just from your perspective, and how do you see that playing out perhaps this week?
Like I said, I definitely would never bet against this guy. You see the look in his eye, the way that he's working, and you just see the way that he's gone about his business this week. Sure seems like a person that has every intent to be full speed ahead on Saturday.
Looked like Jared was wearing gloves today. Was that purely about the anticipation of cold weather?
You know what? I think it's probably a combination of both. You guys will have to ask him, but the cold weather definitely does help. That's something that when we played in some of those colder games, he's experimented with. I think he likes the tack that it gives him. And, that's something that he's felt good about the last couple of days. And I would expect to see him, wear that on Saturday.
In the game?
Possibly.
What about in terms of, we're talking a lot about how the cold might affect the passing game and whatnot, Sean. So it seems, at least looking at it from afar, that this could be a game where the running attack is even more important than it usually is. And I know it's always important. But
Yeah.
how would,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Gary.
how would you describe it?
Yeah, I think you just said it. I think, you always have to have a contingency plan, whether it's cold and, is it windy? Is it snowing? There's certain types of weather when it does get, in those lower temperatures that definitely affect your ability to throw the football, and some that don't. Now for us, our team's not accustomed to playing in it, but, once you get going, I don't think those guys are out there actually cold. We've got great ways of keeping them warm on the sidelines. So, I think you saw Aaron yesterday. If you guys saw when he talked to the media, he said, one of the things you don't want to do is get too far ahead of yourself with the media and the weather forecasts in Green Bay. And so I think we've got to make sure, like you guys have heard me say over and over, we have to have some agility. But if it is one of those games that's inclement weather, similar to what they played in against Tennessee, that's definitely a factor. And you've got to be mindful of what are some of the bad weather types of plays, whether it's the runs or what type of things in the pass game you want to activate. But that's certainly something that we're prepared for if that's the case.
Sean, go ahead. Through most of your 4 years here, you really never had like a quarterback situation that you had to maybe withhold from us, or that you're withholding for strategic purposes. So I'm wondering what the challenge has been for you in your weekly news conferences, or your daily news conferences, I should say, and plus also managing that behind the scenes. Like, what's the challenge when suddenly you're trying to maybe hide who your quarterback is?
Yeah, I think it's really, for a talkative guy, just saying we'll take it a day at a time. And that's what I'm sticking to. It's not hard behind the scenes because you communicate to your players, but I don't think it does us any benefit, making those announcements right now, whether we know or whether we don't know, what that scenario is. And it's the first time, but you get a little bit shorter answers from me than you're accustomed to, I guess.
Anything else, guys?
You've gotten this far without, as we talked about before, yet winning 3 in a row. Do you have a reason to think that you're going to achieve that consistency at this stage?
Yeah, I mean, are you saying we shouldn't show up? No, we have here's the thing. There's no better time than to string together a win streak than right now. And so really been pleased with the last two performances. It's a great challenge for us. We're doing everything in our power to prepare in all three phases. Our players have a great look in their eye. There's a focus, there's a concentration, there's a belief, but there's also an understanding of what a great effort and what great execution that we're going to have to go get it done against, a 13-3 football team that is playing outstanding in all three phases. But it's what you love about it. As a competitor, this is what gets you excited to get a chance to just compete every single week. And now here represents an opportunity to go against what is, the best in the NFC.
Sean, Michael Brockers obviously almost departed during the offseason, but what has his presence here throughout this season meant to this defensive line in particular?
Yeah, Lindsay, I'll tell you what, when you just think about the energy, the charisma, the presence, the leadership that he provides, he has been so instrumental, and it's not just the production. And I'll tell you when you really feel it, you appreciate him because he's got this warm, engaging personality, but he locks in on the field. Guys look to him to see, all right, what does it look like to be a pro's pro with how you approach meetings, how you approach practice? I think Michael Brockers has that perfect balance of urgency and enjoyment. He's always having fun. You guys have heard me talk about that. But really, when he missed that week, and then even, his first time back with us on Saturday morning last week and just hearing his laugh in the breakfast room, even though we're spread out all over the place, you just felt like you were alive again. Brock's back. Everything's going to be okay. He just brings life to the group. I love him. I'm so thankful that he came back for so many reasons, but he's been a guy that's been doing it at a high level for this organization long before I got here. And the appreciation I have for watching his maturity, his production, everything that he represents since I got here, I couldn't be more thankful and grateful to be able to work with veteran players that provide leadership. And really, those are the guys that set the culture and they make what is right about the Rams right now.
How is Andrew Whitworth?
He's doing good. He's progressing well. He's got some soreness in that knee. He came out really firing on all cylinders last week. And, we are taking it a day at a time with him. And I think with him, you're also, allowing him to communicate to you how he's feeling, to be as smart as possible so that by the time Saturday at 3:30 or whenever it is that we exactly kick off and Green Bay rolls around, that he's ready to be at his best if he's feeling good.
Hey, we'll wrap this up with Jordan.
Hey, Sean, earlier this week, you talked about functionality being the main factor in your decision-making and Jared's workload, wondering if that increased week over week. I know he's marked full now and was limited last week, so obviously, but if you could confirm that. And then also, what functionality have you seen from him, and are you seeing the things that you need to see this week?
Yeah, he's done a really nice job with everything that he can control, Jordan. And at this point in the year, he's gotten a lot of good individual work with Kevin and with Liam. We are a little bit more limited in the amount of physical toll that we try to put on our players' bodies right now. I think you guys see, especially when you've accumulated this much work, it is important to try to get some reps that are reflective of some game-like situations. But you also want to make sure guys are feeling good. And so that's where there's a real emphasis on the above the neck. But what he's done in the individual drills and then today in the physical settings, he is definitely making very good progress, Jordan.
Thanks, Sean.
You're welcome. Okay. Thank you, guys.